Love Island UK season a million. So Love Island's been going on for many, many years. It's one of my guilty pleasures. I like to give myself one sort of reality TV show to watch a year, and I tend to pick one that I can kind of just empty my brain out a little bit. And it's a bit like meditation for me, actually. I think I might have said that before in a video, where I can just empty my brain and forget about the troubles in the world and just watch some bullshit, really. And that is what Love Island is. But I will say, I think I've watched every season of Love Island. And I will say this one was great. This one knocked it out of the park. The most recent season of Love Island UK. It was just drama from beginning to end. The absolute worst men and some really annoying women in this as well. But just like, how bad can a man behave? Let's see. And there was some great villains in this. Great villains. So this year was extremely stressful to watch. It's one of those things that I watch it with my housemate, and we talk about this all the time. But it's so frustrating to see good guys, nice guys, sort of consistently not get picked throughout the show. And it's always dickheads that get picked by girls. Girls fancy horrible guys a lot of the time. For some reason, I really don't know why. Maybe there's some element of danger, excitement to somebody who's just horrible, but somebody who's just shows you that being in a relationship with them will be utterly horrible. Girls love to fancy that guy. That guy is picked over and over and over and over and over. So let's get straight into. I've got a couple of things I wanted to mention about this season. I want to go into Harry, Shakira, and Helena. So Harry was just the worst guy ever. I didn't particularly like Shakira, and I didn't particularly like Helena. Maybe I would like Shakira, and maybe I would like Helena if their self-respect, I guess, or their choices in life is wasn't so down in the dumps, wasn't so atrociously awful. Like, Shakira and Helena and Harry was a threesome that was going on from beginning of season all the way to the end. And I can't get my head around it. Why does Shakira and why does Helena continue to fancy a man who is so horrible? Like, he's not a model. He was definitely not model looks. I don't think he's a billionaire. He is quite literally a narcissist. He is literally just the worst person to be in a relationship with. And no matter what Harry did to Shakira and to Helena, they continued to fancy him. And it didn't matter if a nice guy was trying to speak to Shakira, or a nice, lovely guy who had good manners or whatever was trying to speak to Helena. No, they were only interested in Harry. Now, people might say that you can't help who you like. Like, the heart wants what the heart wants. And in some respects, I do get that. But also, like, your heart should also want the best thing for you as well. You know, like, you should question why your heart wants something, why you find something desirable, why you find something valuable. Because I'm going to throw out a ridiculous scenario. Okay? Let's say your heart wanted someone underage. Or let's say your heart wanted a racist. You should then, like, look inwards at yourself and be like, why does my heart want to be with somebody who is underage? Or why does my heart want to be with somebody who is just a racist, a Nazi or something? You know, maybe your heart wants to date an animal, to date a dog. You can't just give the excuse the heart wants what the heart wants. You've got to fix that about yourself, right? Now, Harry is none of those things, of course. But he's bad enough for, if my heart was set strongly on a girl who would continuously cheat on me, treat me like shit, lie to my face, and had shown that they did that to previous people, and had shown that that's just the type of person they are, and my heart wants that kind of person, I need to look inwards and be like, oh shit, there's something wrong with me. I need to fix that, you know? Like, it's just ridiculous. And I'm going to move on to Harrison, Tony, and Cash as well. Tony was choosing Harrison over Cash, right? And Harrison was just, again, like another Harry, maybe even worse than Harry. Just lying to their face and always using the excuse, I'm sorry, but the heart, you can't help who you like. The heart wants what the heart wants. Okay, yeah, you can't help liking Harrison, Tony. Tony, you can't help liking Harrison. But you can reflect and make changes in your life, you know? The heart wants what the heart wants. Yeah, you can't help enjoying heroin. But there are active steps you can take to wean yourself off of heroin, right? The heart wants what the heart wants. I want to have a donut right now. And if I keep eating donuts, I'm going to be obese. And again, it's just bad for me, right? So just keep eating donuts. The heart wants what the heart wants, though, right? Yeah, okay, I want something that's bad for me. I should definitely look into stopping that, right? Now, Tony and Cash won the show. Tony only chose Cash because Harrison left her over and over and over and over again. Eventually, he just left the country. It was like only at the point where Harrison left the actual country was Tony like, I guess I should go back to Cash. And for some reason, they won. Like, who voted for them? Like, that's insane. Cash is an absolute gentleman. Cash deserves to win on his own. Cash was a right, upstanding gentleman. He was polite. He was handsome. He was healthy. He was kind. He was mild-mannered. He was tempered, as in, like, he would temper his temper, for example. Why was he not her first choice? Why was she head over heels for Harrison? I will never know. And you could say the heart wants what the heart wants. Okay, but some people's hearts want heroin. Some people's hearts want underage children. Just because your heart wants it doesn't mean it's acceptable, you know? Change. And she was only able to... I am completely and utterly not convinced that Tony would have gone for Cash if Harrison stayed on the island. She would have continued to date Harrison, and Harrison would have continued to mess her around, cheat on her, lie to her face. And the same with Harry, Shakira, and Helena. I mean, Helena really was just forced into, like, we gotta break up because you just are so obviously not into me in a respectful way whatsoever. The last thing I'm going to speak about is the other kind of quote-unquote villain of the show that everybody seemed to hate was Dijon. When you've got Harry and Harrison in there, Dijon is just fine. He's just a fine, normal guy. I was a little bit confused at... A little bit of me kind of agrees with Dijon, which is... He said something which I a little bit agreed with. A little bit. And I'll say the other side of the argument after, because I understand the other side of the argument as well. But he said, oh, I'm sorry I was flirty when I was on dates with girls. I must have misunderstood the concept of the show. I thought this was like a dating show. When I go on dates with girls, I'm going to put on my flirting hat and be very flirty with them. And then I'll make my decision if I fancy them or not. And every date he had, he just came to the decision that he didn't fancy them and he fancied Meg. And girls were really angry at him for firstly flirting with them so much and not choosing them. Okay, I guess like your ego must have been hit there. Really angry with him for not kissing them enough in challenges and things. And it's like, well, you know, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to do it. Now, the other side of the argument is, why would he be so defensive and why was his attitude so bad? And is he just performing for the camera? That is something a little bit maybe I do see. I understand he was very concerned about the camera. But honestly, people hating him and Meg, I couldn't really understand it, because he was just going on dates like he wasn't supposed to do, flirting with people to try and create some form of banter or wit or flirt between people. When you're on a date, you want to do that stuff just to see how it goes, right? And each time it would be all right, but it just wasn't as good as Meg. So in the end, he was like, yeah, just gonna choose Meg, and everyone was pissed off at him for that. And then they were really pissed off at him for going exclusive, really pissed off at him for making Meg his girlfriend, and even more pissed off at him for saying I love you. And it was like, okay, this feels a little bit weird, like how much you guys are pissed off at them. Like, he played the game really well. Like, he went and flirted with everybody and he made his choice. So it is what it is, really. Was he really concerned about the cameras? Yeah. I can't say I wouldn't be the same. I feel weird even having a camera on right now, if I'm honest with you. But it takes a while to get used to it. I've been doing these videos for like over a year, like almost 2 years now. It takes a while to get used to cameras, I have to say. But yeah, it is what it is. Love Island, season 1,000,000, really, really great. Tell me what you thought in the comments below.